Behold, the first expansion set to come with Rise of the Old Gods for Kamigami battles into the Dreamlands. Oh, I'm not sure if this is the first. I mean, both the sets came out together at the same time, but now I have no idea what Into the Dreamlands is or what it's about. I'm not sure what its relation is to Rise of the Old Ones, if any. But like all the other expansion sets, this includes new warriors, new gods, new temples or locations as they call it, as well as new artifact cards and disciples. Perhaps the back will detail what this set is. Outside of our own reality lies an entire universe of wonder and nightmare, the Dreamlands forged by the unconscious thoughts of sleepers everywhere, even gods dream, and thus the land too becomes a battlefield for domination. So I'm not sure if that's a reference to anything or just a repeat of all the gods and what be it fighting in their slumber and whatever they want to call it. But as an expansion set, this is not playable on its own. You're going to need one of the 3 core sets in order to play this set with it. What's nice is how the box feels. It's a shame that you can't use these boxes. Just like the other 4 expansion sets, the box feels really nice. I like the material. But time to see what dwells inside. Alright, so you have your dividers. You have the gods, and you have a little space pocket there for the warriors and disciples. Unlike my other unboxings of the expansion sets, I'm actually going to go through each card and give a quick read on each one of them, rather than just say their names and show off what they look like. Starting with the gods, we have Karakal. First ability, Act, pay 2 energy, all disciple ones gain Act, attack 1 until the end of the turn. Oh, that's a huge banger right off the bat, because turn 1, your turn 1, if you end up getting 3 disciple ones and 2 disciples of defense abilities, you're not going to be able to really buy much. So you can actually do that to make them all attack first turn. So that's pretty cheeky. And second act, banish 1 disciple 3 from your hand, gain 3 faith points. So you're getting rid of your defensive disciples, but you're getting 3 faith points. I can go either way with that one. Next is, what is this? Hagarog Ryonis. I'm not sure what any of these are, because I'm not familiar with any of this kind of Dreamland thing. Well, first ability is an act. Pay 1 energy, discard 1 red warrior from your hand to remove 1 energy card from any location or god. So you're discarding a red warrior, but it's doing remove, which remove you can't block with a defense card. You have to actually use an ability to avoid damage from that, which is interesting. And the next act, the next red warrior you play from this turn may only be defended against by warriors. Ooh, so that switches things up a little bit, because normally you would use disciples to defense to protect against attacks, but by warriors. So there are a handful of warriors that have defensive abilities too. So you would have to use that in reaction to that attack. So you have to use warrior to defend the warrior. That's a good switch up there. Next is Lobon. First act. If you did not attack this turn, add 1 energy to Lobon. Okay, so it's a defensive card. If you don't attack, you get energy onto it, but you have to do not attack it. Wouldn't that be better if it's a react? No, that wouldn't make sense. But second ability, react, pay 1 energy during an attack. Gray warriors gain react defense 2 against this attack. Ah, okay. So whenever you get attacked, you pay 1 energy off this character during the attack, and you can play a gray warrior, so you have in your hand, you have react defense 2 against the attack. So it's warriors. That's useful if you need to defend yourself and you don't have any more defensive cards. You have to start using your warriors. So that gives the gray warriors an additional use. Next is, I don't know how to pronounce that. Nerla Rosorotep, the Crawling Mist. Interesting. So it's the first act. Discard 1 warrior from your hand. Choose 1 player to discard 1 card of their choice from their hand. If they have 4 more cards, another one of those. So it's another one of those cards like Pisces, where you, in this case, have discard 1 warrior from your hand. You choose a player and they discard 1 card of their choice from their hand if they have 4 more cards from the hand. So as long as they have 4 more cards, you can mess around with them. And second ability, react. Pay 1 energy, cancel an act ability on a warrior or disciple. Oh, that's very useful. Doesn't cancel God's act, but being able to cancel warriors effects, that's pretty useful. That's pretty good. Next is Euchronos. Aura Chronos. Alright, first ability. Add 1 energy to an opponent's god. Reduce the cost of all blue warriors by 1 this turn. Interesting choice. So you're adding 1, so rather than paying it, or somehow paying 1 life point, you're adding a life point to opponent in order to reduce all blue warrior cost by 1. Interesting choice. Interesting mix up to that. Second ability is to react. When you are attacked, remove 1 energy from the attacker's location. So when you are attacked. So not every time you attack, just when you get attacked. Not each instance of attack. Remove 1 energy from your attacker's location. So if your opponent attacks you, they're gonna have to make sure they're not gonna mess up their location or destroy it by accident. Next is Nas Hortasiv. Okay. So first act, pay 1 energy, add +2 to the next attack to the next warrior you play this turn with an act attack. Okay, so powers up. So it's like Sora from Battle of the 9 Realms, where it powers up the attack of an upcoming warrior. Second ability, react. If your warrior does 2 more damage to a god or location, add 1. Okay, so every time this god, your warriors, do 2 more damage to a god, you add 1 HP to this, so that's useful. And that's going to be it for the gods, and then we have the temples here. Oh, just 1 temple. Next card is one of these little advertisement slips. But the temple here is going to be Kadef. So react when an opposing god gains HP, add 1 on to here. Add 1 here. What's interesting says here, it's kind of silly because before it said add 1 to this temple or to this location, not even this location, but just says add 1 energy here. I don't know if that's just lazy writing or lazy wording or I'm just being picky, but it just seems very weird that they will go from add 1 energy to X temple to now just add here. And I'm talking way too much about it. But it's second ability, which is a react. Pay 2 energy from here. Here we go again with that. When this is attacked, change the target to another location, including attackers. Okay, so I'll have to say that this is kind of pointless to have this kind of temple, but I don't get the point of this temple. So you're paying 2 energy from this temple. When this is attacked, when this temple gets attacked, change the target to another location, including the attackers. Like, I don't get it. Okay, let me repeat this again. Your opponent attacks this temple. Your opponent attacks you. They choose to attack this temple. You activate his ability, and you make them attack their temple. Well, then why bother attacking the temple at all? It doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't give you HP. It doesn't let you draw a card. It doesn't power up your warriors or give them the bigger defense. It's just redirecting an attack to the... I don't get this temple. That's a real weak link to end that on, but that's the gods, and that's the temple that comes in this set. But to end it on a higher note, since I did support the Kickstarter, I did get the promo gods for this expansion set, which will be these 2. So let's see if this ends on a better note. The first promo god is Zoklalar. Discard 1 gold, or yellow. Discard 1 yellow warrior from your hand, add 1 HP to any god. So just discard, add energy, mildly useful. Second act, pay 2 energy from your location. Choose 1 warrior or disciple with a cost of 3 or less in the Nether one and put in discard pile. So you're paying off your location, which allows you to grab a warrior disciple with a cost of 3 or less from the Nether realm to add your discard pile. So that's useful to get some free warriors, so to speak, because you're just paying off your location, not off your god, which you don't want to pay off your goddess. Well, you do, but you don't want to pay off your god as minimal as possible. You want to make sure your god's HP stays up there. And the second promo god is Yohande. Oh, that's not that bad, actually. First ability is to react. Pay 1 energy, banish 1 warrior played this turn, react his ability once per turn. Okay, so you may banish 1 warrior played this turn. So if your opponent plays a warrior, you can do that to banish it, which will annoy them very much so, because obviously you don't want your warriors banished unless it's intentional. You can bring them back. And the second ability, act, pay 1 energy, take 1 persistent artifact from any player and give it to any other player. Any energy on that player on that artifact stays on it. Oh, so this is going to be working with those new artifact cards where you can actually mess around with other people's artifacts and either give them to any player. So that will include yourself, because any player is also you. So you can steal your opponent's artifacts. That's mildly useful. And it keeps the energy on it too. So ending it on a better note than that temple, that is going to be all the gods that comes with into the Dreamland. And these are the 2 promo gods that were essentially coming with this set. And next we're going to take a look at the Disciples, since the Warriors are a little more exciting to get Disciples out of the way first. Alright, so we just have one Disciple in this set. Yep, and that one Disciple is a number 3 Disciple called Ghoul. Nice and easy. First act, banish one Disciple from your hand, gain 2 faith points. Okay, that'd be useful later on if you have the Disciple 1s and it's not anything useful. Second ability, react, defense 2. So of course a defense card, so that's your second ability. Very standard, pretty okay. Next is going to be the Warriors that come on this set. The first one is going to be Gug. Just Gug, okay. So Red Warrior, cost 6. Act, attack 4. Any cards used for defense against UG are banished at the beginning of the discard phase. Ooh, so that's very similar to that one Warrior from Never of Souls, where any defense card used against it gets banished. So another one of those. Very deadly. Makes your opponent not want to attack. Next card is going to be Randolph Carter, the one on the cover. Grey Warrior, costs 3. First act, take 1 Red Warrior from your discard pile and place on top of your deck. So very useful if you have a Red Warrior in your discard pile that you want to get back for the turn to attack with. Second ability, draw 1 card. Very straightforward. Next card is a green card called Cats of Yosara. It's cost 3. First ability, act, reincarnate 1 warrior in the Netherworld. So nothing special there, just reincarnate, so you add it back to its deck of warriors in the Hall of Heroes. And then its second ability, react, if this is banished, reincarnate it instead. Remove 1 energy from the god of the player who banished it. Interesting. So next is another Red Warrior, Night Gunt. Red Warrior, cost 2. Ability, attack 2. If your opponent has the Moon Sphere, I think that's Moon Sphere, add 2 to this attack. Okay, so that's very specific. So in this case, an example would be this one here has the Moon Sphere. So if that was one of your opponent's spheres of, I forgot what they were called, but if that was one of the spheres he had, this does additional 2 attack to him. So it's a little specific on who its attacks to get that boost, but overall that's very useful if one of your opponents is having one of those Moon Fangs, because you're gonna have one of the 3 might be a Moon Fang. And then the next to last warrior is gonna be Haragrim. Red Warrior, cost 4. First ability, attack 4, useful. Second ability, react, defense 2. So it's attacker and defender, nice to have. And then the next set of warriors are going to be in here, along with the randomizers. Alright, next set of warrior is going to be Nashtad and Kamata. So, it's a yellow, cost 5. First ability, act, pay 2 energy from location, add 2 to any god. So you're paying off your location, add life to any god. Very useful. React, defense 2. If the attacker has a cost of 4 or more, banish it at the beginning of the discard phase. Ooh, so that's another one of those defense cards that banishes. So any of the heavy hitters get at risk of being banished if they attack into this for a defense card. Next warrior is a green one called Moon Beast. Cost 4. Reveal. Ooh, it's a reveal card. Add 1 energy to any of the god that has a Moon Sphere. Oh, that's nice for any kind of Moon Sphere gods. So that's really useful for them. Doesn't seem to harm anyone other than, if you don't get energy, that's not cool. I want energy. Second ability, act. Discard 1 red warrior from your hand, gain 2 faith points. So discarding red warriors, typically you want to use your red warriors for attacking, but if you can't, you can at least discard it and get some faith points to buy something nice. This should be second to last warrior. Doles. Or is it just Doles? I think it's just Doles. Red warrior, costs 3. Reveal, another reveal. Remove 1 energy from the active player's location. If it is destroyed, they choose another location to lose 1 HP. Interesting. So this is one of those consequential reveals where you're going to lose HP, but at least if your temple is destroyed, someone else takes the hit instead. And its ability, act, attacks 3. If the target is a god with a green leaf sphere, add 1 attack. Oh, so it's another one of those power-ups. So looks like this is more of a powering up attacks. It's an interesting choice. And the last warrior is going to be minions of Gadamon. Hadamon, is it? Well, it's a blue warrior, costs 3. The first act, look at the top 2 cards of any player's deck, leave 1 card on top and put the other one out to another one of those abilities. So just like in Rise of the Old Ones, there's several cards that have that ability where you can look at the top cards of a deck, any player's deck in this case, leave 1 card on top and leave the other one in discard pile. But this time, rather than leaving the cards on the top or the bottom of the deck, this one puts in discard pile. So similar, but different enough for it to be its own usefulness. And that's going to be all the warriors in this deck. And then we're going on to the artifacts. The first is going to be Silver Key. It's gray, costs 3. It's a common card. Again, I'm not sure what the common means because in the core rulebook set for Rise of the Old Ones where artifacts are mentioned, it doesn't say anything for commons, only persistent, but not commons. Its first ability, an act, draw 1 card. Second ability, act, replace your location with an unchosen location following the normal restrictions. Put 5 energy on it, banish the artifact at the beginning of the discard phase. Oh, so this gives you a completely new location. I wonder if that works if your location is destroyed, because you still have your location, your temple, it's just destroyed, so you can't do anything with it. So I'm wondering if that affects that. And it's a common, so I'm guessing commons are just multiples of the same card. Next is going to be Papyrus of Karnak. So that's a gray card, cost 2, another common. First ability, draw 1 card, so that's the first act. Second act, if you attack an opponent location this turn, they cannot play any defensive cards unless they first pay 1 from their location. Oh, that's cheeky. So that would mean you have to take a hit on that location by paying 1 first, and then you can play defensive cards. So you're losing HP on that temple regardless. That's mean. And next is Idol of Bakrog. It's a green card, costs 4. It's persistent, which I'll explain in a second. Add 1 energy to this artifact. That's the first act. Second act, remove 5 energy from this artifact. Remove all energy from any location and destroy it. Banish this artifact at the beginning of the discard phase. Wow, so this will flat out destroy any location. It is a persistent card. So the way persistent artifacts work is that you have to play this first in chain. So you have to play one of these cards or any warrior cards, such as, for example, going with this dude here, Night Grunt, which has a green. That green chains into the artifact card, and then you would play into continue as normal the chain. At the end of the turn, or this discard phase, this does not get discarded. This remains. So that remains on your side of the field, and you get to keep it and keep using its act abilities. At least one of them. You can't use both of them, but you keep using it, and that keeps getting powered up until it's removed or until the player is destroyed. Next artifact is going to be the Book of Black Stones. It's a red card, costs 4, another persist, so similar to how the persist works like Idol of Bakrog. Act, add 1 energy to this artifact. Okay, and the second act, if the next warrior you play this turn has an attack ability, that card gains +1 attack for each energy on this artifact. So as long as you keep stacking this up, you can power up one of your warriors to do an attack. That's huge for each one. That's really good. Next is going to be Monolith of Ib. 1B, just Ib. It's going to be a gold card or yellow card. 2 faith points. It's persistent, so it's another one that sticks around. Act, during your discard phase this turn, you may keep 1 card in your hand instead of discarding it. That's useful, because if you have like a warrior card, you want to play like a red warrior, a big attacker, but you can't combo it or you can't chain it out, you can use this to keep that in your hand. That's very useful. And then the last artifact is going to be Loot of Onai. It's a blue card, costs 2. The first act, put 1 artifact from your discard pile to the top of your deck. So that's useful to recover any artifacts you may have lost. And then react, pay 1 energy from your location to cancel 1 warrior or disciple's act ability during its turn. So that's very useful. It's useful in order to stop warriors or disciples. Anything that cancels out another card's ability is always going to be useful. It is paying 1 off your location, which is good, because you'd rather pay off your location than your god for abilities, so that's always a good card to have. That's going to be all the cards that come into the Dreamlands set. What really stands out to me from this set is the loot of Unai. The loot of Unai. This one here, that's going to be really huge. Idol of Buckrock. I really like that. The Silver Key, just getting a whole new temple. You got some real good artifacts in this set. But what really irks me, as I'm going to keep thinking about it, is this temple. I'm not sure what the point of this temple is. Like, I've read it a dozen times by now, and I'm not 100% sure what the point of its ability is. I'm sure I'm missing something, and I'm sure people are going to figure out how to make that temple much more useful. I'm not really 100% sure in this set. Like, you do have some real good cards here I mentioned, but although I think there's nothing game-changing, I mean, Silver Key and the Idol of Buckrock, those are really good. So into the Dreamland, a nice set to have, a nice expansion set to have. I'm not sure if this is going to be one of those must-need expansions, but it does have some real good, fun cards in here. But not an expansion set you want to sleep on. Oh, I didn't mean to make that pun.